I have here a study from Hampstead University which shows us that cats and dogs are beginning to watch television. Now, if these scientists are right, we should start programming right now. Within 20 years, they could become steady viewers.
Programming for cats.
Well, it's here. The sequel to Captain Marvel, where Brie Larson has been demoted from the sole female lead, gaining 2 extras that have never been seen in any Marvel movie before. Unsurprisingly, the trailers for this movie had very little to do with the Marvels movie. Iron Man and Captain America don't show up in flashbacks or in spirit. The villain has nothing to do with Thanos, even though you would think, after watching the latest trailer, they would in some way be important to the story.
My work is inevitable. There will always be more to finish it.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
So what is the story all about then?
Put a chicken in and make it lame!
Yes, South Park guessed most of the movie in that one line, especially for the villain. But seriously, this movie is such a mishmash of different ideas that you can tell that this has been through multiple different reshoots, then all stuck together to create a Frankenstein monster of a film. Alone, some of these ideas could have worked, given time, as is, not so much. Anyway, to that story. Well, the new big bad Dar-Ben wants to renew the destroyed Hala by stealing the elements from other worlds, even solar systems. If you're wondering why this sounds slightly familiar, then it's the plot for Spaceballs of Stealing the Air. That was a funny movie from start to finish. To that generic villain again, she does this by punching holes in reality with Ronan the Accuser's hammer, with no Infinity Stones in sight, just using
Black girl magic!
taking the air, water and sun, each from a different place, rather than just the same one. Why? Just go with it, should be the tagline to this movie. Then, no one would have really noticed, cared, or knew about this happening. But that is skipping ahead a little. Let's get to how the movie begins. The movie starts with Dar-Ben searching a planet for the bracer of untold power. However, only finds one when they are forged in a pair. The movie then cuts to Kamala Khan, the owner of the other half of the bracer Dar-Ben is after. This serves as an intro to her character, talking about her powers and how she idolizes Captain Marvel. During this intro, the bracer starts to glow, and then the movie cuts to Captain Marvel, as the movie gives you the flashbacks to the first movie to catch everyone up who has seen it or not. In most cases, not. Captain Marvel now has a ship which she seems to be living on, very much copying Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. She gets a call from Nick Fury in his space station to ask her has she noticed a surge in the jump point system, which is how the Marvel Universe is set up by James Gunn to travel through space. They have pinpointed where the surges come from, and since she is nearby, asking if she can go check it out. The movie then cuts to the other lead of this movie, Monica Rambeau, who is also on that space station. Monica decides to investigate the jump point anomaly up close, while at the same time, Captain Marvel flies in space with her cat to the planet Dar-Ben found the bracer. Yes, Captain Marvel can travel through space without needing any sort of spacesuit. She finds the jump point stuck open, unable to shut as the source of the surge. You then get to the Freaky Friday moments of position switching as Monica and Captain Marvel touch the surge anomaly, Kamala to Monica's position, Monica to Captain Marvel's, and so on. Following Kamala, or Miss Marvel, who now has a fantastic spacesuit which stops her from dying, to eventually meeting Nick Fury space station. Now Captain Marvel is in Kamala's bedroom and tries to use her powers, end up swapping with Monica, back to the planet she originally came from, and defeats all the Kree soldiers who were waiting there to conveniently tell her the information she needs on where to find Dar-Ben. This then allows the movie to move forward, prompting Captain Marvel to travel there. As she gets to the planet Tarnax, where peace talks are underway between the two ancient enemies, she decides to sneak onto the Kree ship to find out what's going on. Dar-Ben, however, is only there to tell the Skrull to join the Kree Empire, and is willing to help them relocate, as she is going to strip the atmosphere of this planet for her own. During this time, Captain Marvel, the Annihilator as the Kree call her, is caught sneaking around the ship, but as she tries to use her power, is once again swapped with Kamala. You then get Goose the cat eating 2 of the Kree soldiers about to attack her, and the third forces her to use her powers again, with Monica now swapping with Kamala. Back on Earth, Kamala holding Goose talks to her family about what is happening as Goose coughs up the 2 Kree soldiers from earlier. It then cuts to Fury with Captain Marvel as she talks to him about the situation and how it happened, to which Fury tells her to stop touching weird glowing crap in general, and then this wouldn't have happened. Captain Marvel ignores this and decides to show Fury her powers to demonstrate the swapping. She then swaps to Kamala's location and fights the 2 Kree in her house. She proves her name true, annihilating them to some awful fight music, more bouncing between characters fighting with the Kree in each location, to the same awful music I'll have to say, Monica's powers are all over the shop during this fight. It eventually ends with everyone back to where they all started. As Kamala and her family deal with the damage to their house, Fury and Monica show up to take the Kree prisoners away, while also talking to Kamala to get a grasp on the situation. Fury and Monica explain that they all have different types of light powers, which could be the reason why they are all switching. Monica is especially impressed by Kamala's to show them how it works, uses them again, ended up switching with Captain Marvel. More explanation on the backstory to Monica and how she has powers, how she walked through a witch's barrier to gain them. Captain Marvel decides that she needs to swap back straight away and decides to fly into the sky, causing Kamala to switch again into a free fall, but Kamala does not use her powers to stop herself for quite a while. Fury then tells Monica to fly up and save her.
Black girl magic!
Monica fails to catch her while flying, unsurprising from her first attempt, causing Kamala to create shields around them both, as they once again swap with Captain Marvel as she hits the ground. The power swapping is just all over the place when it happens, as both Kamala and Monica are using it at the same time, and most likely Captain Marvel is as well, but they're not swapping back and forward. But let's take a moment to think about what Captain Marvel just did there. She could have killed both of them, because neither can fly, and if she had left the atmosphere, they would have suffocated to death. What a great plan, Carol. This then leads to Monica and Kamala being caught on the ship and Captain Marvel being left on Earth. Dar-Ben then arrives, finding them both on her ship, learning that the bracer works and that the Annihilator is connected to them. Before she returns to stop their plan, she must use the bracer. Kamala notices during this moment that the bracer is the same as hers and hides it from view. When Dar-Ben is asked what they should do with the prisoners, she decides it's quicker just to kill them, using the power of the bracer, rather than just shooting them like they could have earlier on, once again going for hand to hand. Captain Marvel shows up out of nowhere to save their lives. How fast must she be going to get there in such a short amount of time? If she can move that quick, no one can beat her. As I know, it seems right now they only swap when they're using the powers at the same time, even though just before, when Kamala was fallen, this was not so much a case. Just go with it. A minor fight breaks out with a little swapping as each of them try to use their powers, but the bracer stops the blast from Captain Marvel is the main takeaway, with Dar-Ben jumping out of the ship onto the planet. There she tells the Skrull they have betrayed the Kree again, sending Captain Marvel to attack them, and for that she opens a portal right above their settlement to take away the atmosphere. We then get a CGI scene of the village being destroyed as the Skrull try to escape, with Captain Marvel and Kamala trying to help who they can, but being able to save everyone. Later on the ship, the Skrull leader blames Captain Marvel for what happened. Well, she says it was all a ruse, and she has called a friend, and it's King Valkyrie who shows up on the ship to take them away, leaving our three heroes on the ship alone. It then cuts to Hala, with Dar-Ben and the Kree, with their new heir, and the backstory to how Captain Marvel destroyed everything 30 years ago, getting the name Annihilator. However, the bracer does not have the power to fix the sun without killing her, which he accepts as there's no more time, as Hala is dying. It then cuts back to the ship for talks between the three, some of it being stiff, some fine. Eventually getting to Kamala showing the bracer to Captain Marvel, explaining how she believes it is the same as Dar-Ben's and the cause for the switching. Captain Marvel tells them how they are legendary quantum bands that are believed to be used to create jump points across the universe. And the reason the jump points are staying open and are unstable is because Dar-Ben only has one and not the pair. Kamala then talks about seeing coordinates but not knowing where they go, leading to Captain Marvel whipping out some headbands so they can look at her memories. We get a roundup of what has happened during the movie so far, as the characters put the pieces together to guess where Dar-Ben's next target is, a water planet, and travelling there to stop her. The movie cuts to Fury and Kamala's parents, which is just unnecessary. They shouldn't be there on the space station. What should be happening is Captain Marvel just flying straight, super speed, to the water planet, and setting the ship to auto to make sure it's safe, and that Dar-Ben is not already taking that water. Instead, however, what we get is a training montage with some more bad music to figure out how their swapping works and how to control their power to their advantage during the fight, which they could have done on the planet once they'd known it was safe. Anyway, they arrive at the water planet and find out that Captain Marvel is a princess of this planet, and that the people only communicate via song, which then ends up in a big song and dance number. And I have to say, this whole bit grated on me, and I think it will for most people. Eventually it stops when they meet her husband, who is bilingual and able to actually talk normally, not via song, which is very good to hear. Then back to Fury, which some strange eggs turned up on the space station. Where they're coming from and what are they are unknown. It then cuts back to the heroes, getting their suit up moment when the Kree arrive. Then more screeching resumes by the people. Ugh. The battle then begins as the prince refuses to kneel to Dar-Ben. Sure, Captain Marvel could have blown all these ships out of the sky, but decides that the bracer is more important and tries to get the drop on Dar-Ben with Monica. They fail, unsurprisingly, ending up having a fight with Dar-Ben on the hull of a ship, with eventually Kamala being swapped in, letting Dar-Ben know that they have the other bracer that she needs. She then swaps with Captain Marvel, who ends up in hand-to-hand combat with Dar-Ben, who then drains her power, enhancing Dar-Ben's bracer, allowing her to create the portal to suck up the water. Why they could not have just destroyed the ship they were fighting on to send Dar-Ben into the ocean, as Captain Marvel and Monica could fly, with neither of them having a massive heavy hammer, unlike Dar-Ben, I have no idea. Once again, they failed to stop her. 2 for 2 from Captain Marvel, but she refuses to accept this, that she can fail again, almost getting them all killed. Well, the other two, she would be fine, as seen multiple times. This then forces Kamala to hit the jump button. As they crash land, the ship amazingly remains intact. Captain Marvel then explains herself that she is the cause of the destruction of the Kree Empire and everything that has gone wrong. She destroyed the Kree AI, killing untold billions, getting her the name the Annihilator. They all then make up, with Captain Marvel realising that Dar-Ben is targeting places she cares about. Her next target must be Earth, or in this case the Sun. The movie then cuts to the station in trouble as the people try to evacuate, but they only have enough escape pods for 100 or so people, not nearly enough for everyone on the station. But then, one of the eggs that have been turning up hatches into a cat just like Goose, a Flurkin. Fury, how do I put this, wants to use the newly hatched cats to eat all the people on the station. Then there will be room in the pods for them to escape. This scene is just so absurd. It did make me laugh, in a what the hell am I watching kind of way, as the cute kittens go around the station in a horror-esque scene, eating people as they run away in terror. Because of this, everyone is saved, as the kittens are then put into the pods. Only the mainish characters are left on the station, as Dar-Ben then opens a portal next to the sun. We then get one of those waste of time speeches, where every second counts, as Kamala and her family have a chat before they eventually leave with Fury and the cats on the last ship. They then get in trouble, which would not have happened if they had left earlier, instead of having this stupid conversation, which ends up with the ship crash land on Earth with some of the best shock absorbers I've ever seen. To the final battle of the trailers. Marvel could have just blown the ship up, killing Dar-Ben in space, or go super speed and beat her in one punch, but that's not how it goes. After defeating Dar-Ben, she refuses to give up the bracer, saying that Captain Marvel destroyed her son, so why should she not take hers instead? Which gives Monica the idea for Captain Marvel to use her powers to fix Harla's son. Dar-Ben agrees to this, but it's all a ruse to steal Kamala's bracer instead.
May the best man win. Put her there.
The ring! I can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book! What a goof!
As she tries to use the power, Captain Marvel forces her into space. As she reaches the portal, the power is too strong, causing her to disintegrate. The blast from this power damages the portal, causing it to expand and even change the coordinates on the other side to a different reality. Monica then comes up with an idea to close it. If Kamala and Captain Marvel use their powers on her to charge her up, she will be able to close it from the other side. Monica then glows white in her powered up state. She then gains the ability to travel through space and goes to the other side of the portal to close it, but it's a one-way trip. After it is closed, Captain Marvel travels to Harla to fix the sun by ramming into it and powering it up. Not even the sun can stop her. Captain Marvel now believes she has fixed Harla and her former mistakes, travelling back to Earth to create a home there. We then get 2 end credit scenes, one with Kamala meeting Kate Bishop for a Young Avengers team movie TV show, and Monica ending up in the X-Men universe. And that's it. The movie's over. Less than 100 minutes that felt so much longer. My thoughts on all that? It's a mishmash of ideas, creating a confusing mess of serious, world-ending stakes to random comedy elements that mostly don't land, and stiff dialogue that force conflict between the characters, that the story needs quantum bands that Kamala has to get her in the movie is just weak. What happened to Harla with the air, water and sun to create the villain with Dar-Ben just did not work for me. That she supposedly hated her this much, that she would go through all of this messing around to just get one back over her. A powerful race as the Kree, controlling 25% of the galaxy at one point or so, with all that technology, could not fix the planet or move to another one, as there are thousands out there. A few are even shown. Then, while off-world, tried to fix the planet with terraforming. It just feels forced on the Kree's part. Let alone, that is the bracer that is the key item to everything, creating portals to steal resources from worlds that are important to Captain Marvel. Really? just makes Dar-Benn look petty and incompetent. Why would you poke the sleeping bear that is Captain Marvel to have her come destroy everything again? She is supposed to be thinking about the good of her people and to bring back life to the planet. It makes her a terrible leader. Honestly, the Kree and Dar-Benn are just weak villains all round. Be it their motivation when they should have the power to fix the situation but decide a mythic bracer is the way to go, to the actual power they have to go against Captain Marvel, they have no chance with how much of a wrecking ball she is. Nothing can stop her, even the sun. So what are the Kree supposed to do? They make her so strong in the first movie they had to shackle her with 2 other characters to create danger, as even in the first movie, she's not in danger either. Dar-Benn is just a big nothing of a villain, feeling at most like a poor version of the Guardian's one Ronan, the Accuser, only with the superpower bracer that just so happens to work against Captain Marvel when she shoots directly at it, that then powers up Dar-Benn, but that would not stop Captain Marvel with her super speed and strength, which should kill her instantly. She is just the wrong person to take on Captain Marvel. As for the other characters, I thought Nick Fury was alright in most of the scenes, even if he just seems to stand around a lot of the time, but he does have 1 or 2 good lines. I have not seen Secret Invasion either, so he's still only the movie Nick Fury to me. Kamala's family was fine at times, and grounded Kamala more than the other heroes, but the family was overused and should have been at the start with the house fight and then only shown again at the end, because it got annoying quickly and didn't make sense being in the rest of the movie. King Valkyrie was a big nothing, so was the prince. Now to the main 3, sticking with Kamala. She was definitely the heart of the movie and the trio. She is not the reason for this movie being bad, but she should never have really been in it with the quantum band angle, and that her grand sent it to her in the post is how she got her powers.
Where did you get that? Grandma! Did you send it to me in the mail?
Is a bad superhero origin story, if I've ever heard one. But like her family, I feel she was overused, especially in the comedy, and her fangirl Nova Captain Marvel needed toning down. I never actually understood why in this universe she was even fangirling over Captain Marvel. As the movie even say, she's never done much on Earth, as she was in space all the time, so no one really knows her, which is the reason why there's conflict with Monica Rambeau's character and Captain Marvel. As for Monica, she's kind of a big nothing personality-wise. I never really bought into her relationship with Captain Marvel, finding her forced with the backstory to create conflict between the two, because Captain Marvel never came back and she promised her when she was a child, so she has held a grudge for decades, even when she knows what she has been up to and why she couldn't come back. Monica is only really used to be the science character to think of ideas and explain what is happening. Her powers are also all over the shop, not well defined, and another crap origin story. I got them by walking through a witch's barrier. Really? Last but not least, Captain Marvel. I don't know if it was a bad script, direction, or just casting, but Brie Larson is stiff as a board, for the most part, very rarely emoting throughout the movie, coming off a lot of times as smug, impulsive, and very robotic. Maybe it's because of her being alone for so long, as the movie implies, for her stiff dialogue. But once again, she is not the worst thing in this movie. This is supposed to be a redemption story for her, after becoming the Annihilator, causing the death of billions, but she just keeps doing the same thing, not listening to other people, and always getting them killed. Both planets are worse off, because she was there to power up Dar-Benn's bracer. She almost kills Monica and Kamala twice, and even then, she's not an interesting character to follow, because they refuse to make her emotionally vulnerable, or have her struggle in any significant way. Her powers are inconsistent in this movie. If she had used her power like in the first movie, there would be no fights. They needed a villain, like the Scarecrow, who attacks the mind, to use against her, as nothing stops her, even the sun. And it would make it more interesting, in line with the Injustice comic, where the Joker jugs Superman to kill. Even Superman has a weakness, but Captain Marvel seems to have none. Even staying in the MCU, the villain Baron Zemo from Civil War would make a better villain. Someone who knows they cannot defeat Captain Marvel in the fight, so they have her fight her friends instead, so then she has to pull her punches. Even the Guardians of the Galaxy could have been brought in, as her actions against the Kree Empire would make her one of the most dangerous criminals in the galaxy, putting a huge bounty on her head. But as is, these characters are not strong enough to carry this movie. The fights are nothing to write home about. With the powers of light shooting everywhere, they keep putting songs that don't work in these fights in them. It needs to stop. The visuals range from fine to bad, which is happening more often in Disney movies. The worst offending scene for me in the movie had to be though, where everyone starts singing and screeching. Oof, that was a hard bit to watch and especially to listen to, and in no way works in this movie. I will end this though in a part I did find the funniest, and I think will be the only part people will remember, where it turns into a horror movie when the cats start eating people. Yes, the tone of the movie is everywhere, but if you cut this part out, I did like it and find it funny. Overall, this movie fails on every level, from story, characters, to fights and visuals. Nothing is strong enough to grab your attention, making it incredibly forgettable, even with the bouncing around gimmick that is hard to follow. This movie should have just been a sequel to Captain Marvel, with her battle against the Kree and their ruling AI, and then the decision to destroy the Kree Empire. Instead, this movie tries to be 3 sequels in one, and fails at all of them. If this is the quality of the MCU we are going to expect moving forward, I don't hold out much hope in the upcoming movies. I don't see this lasting much longer without a pause and a reset. Disney, listen to South Park, is all I can say. If you're looking for a good movie with a similar plot and scenes, watch Spaceballs. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you heard, please like and subscribe for more.